So, for today, I'm going to talk about the first cartoon appearance of Spider-Man's greatest and greenest arch-enemy ever. That's right, I'm talking about Green Goblin. So, alright, let's go.
Alright, so Peter Parker and Betty Brant are at a mind reader magic show of Greenie the Mystic, and they're having a grand time. Suddenly, Greenie mentally reads that someone is in his house miles away this very moment, stealing his books on witchcraft. And like, wow, that seems pretty fantastic, but like, is this part of the show? If I was in the audience, man, I was just gonna sit back and see where this thing goes. But Peter doesn't give it a second thought. He takes his words at face value and leaves Betty alone in the theater in a heartbeat. Gone. And it's a good thing he's on the way to Grandini's house because the magic thief is none other than the Green Goblin. But Spidey shows up at Grandini's house, not sure how he knows where it is. Nonetheless, he tussles with the Goblin for a bit, does pretty good for himself, but Green Goblin did leave with the witchcraft book, man, so that's an L for Spider-Man. Meanwhile, at the Daily Bugle, Green Goblin uses an enchantment letter to put J. Jonah Jameson under a trance after JJ read the letter. Crazy! Wow, that witchcraft book is pretty good. And this trance makes Jameson a conduit to the underworld. So Jameson, in whatever form he's in right now, tells the Green Goblin the ingredients that he needs to make a spell. What spell is that? Well, it's a spell that would give Green Goblin the powers to summon and control the demons from the underworld. Holy crap! It's pretty freaking hardcore, man. So Goblin goes back to Grandini's house to get the final ingredient, the Scepter of Osiris, where yet again he meets Spider-Man there for a quick bit of the old fisticuffs, and where yet again Spider-Man loses to Goblin. Grandini warns Spidey that the only way to stop Green Goblin's plans is to learn the time of the witching hour. Which, you know, sounds kind of hard to do if you don't even know what the hell the witching hour is. So what will Spidey do? Well, he goes back to the Daily Bugle to talk to JJ. Peter puts Jameson under a trance again with that enchantment letter so he can learn about them there witching hour and all the secrets that he needs to know. But this conduit talking through Jameson only knows so much. So Peter puts a spider tracer on JJ in case the Green Goblin will need him for later, which he does. So Spidey follows Jameson to the cemetery where the Goblin is well on his way to summoning these demons. Spidey can't let that happen, so he grapples with the Green Goblin yet again. This time he's getting the upper hand on the Goblin, which is pretty good because the demons that were halfway into our world are not at all impressed with the Green Goblin being the loser in this fight. In fact, they're like,
you're kind of a chump, man. We're not gonna listen to you. We're gonna go back home to the underworld, man.
Which they do, right? Spidey spills the cauldron and the spirits go back home, man. So the fight is over. Spider-Man tags the Green Goblin for the police to get arrested. And the witching hour and all those fandangle threats are over. The day is saved. And Jameson is back to normal. Hooray, I guess, on that. But yeah, other than all those other things, man, that is the end of this fantastic tale.
So, yeah, that was kind of a different episode, eh? So, like, usually for season 1 of Spider-Man, you know, he's just fighting super villains and stuff like that. They don't really get into the whole kind of supernatural and all that kind of stuff going down. That's almost something you'd see more in, like, season 3 when things just got weird. And it's the Green Goblin too, right? Like, he's not really a magical, mystical kind of a character. But, you know, if you would maybe consider that this could be their Halloween episode, you know, then all the ghouls and goblins and all that totally makes sense. And this episode did premiere in mid-October, so, you know, maybe? And I guess with Spider-Man defeating the ghosts at the end, that would make him an honorary Ghostbuster, hey? Who you gonna call? Spider-Man! One thing that I was kind of thinking about this episode is Greenie a stand-in for Doctor Strange? You know, like we've had other characters that were stand-ins for existing Marvel characters in this cartoon series. We've had that fake Magneto guy. We've had a fake Thor, which is, you know, kind of insane to say. I'm pretty sure that one Hunter guy was a stand-in for Kraven the Hunter. So for this Greenie guy to be all about the mystic arts and stuff like that, that kind of sounds Doctor Strange, kind of-ish. Or he's just some regular kind of generic, you know, medium kind of mind reader guy. What do I know? But, you know, all in all, still a pretty good episode, right? Like, you know, kind of different than what you would kind of expect. But like I say, if you take it in the idea that it's a Halloween episode, it's, you know, actually pretty good. And you can't go wrong with Spidey fighting the Green Goblin, right? So yeah, wins all around, man. But, yeah, man, if you haven't checked it out, I'd probably say do so, man, because it's all hip and happening. And, yeah, let's see what else we can find out about the Green Goblin and other kind of stuff going on over here.
Yeah, so the Green Goblin. So, the Green Goblin was created by that amazing Spider-Man creative duo of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. And these two had quite the creative differences about the direction and the creation of this character. So in the end, it was a bit of a tug of war, you know, some compromises or whatever, and we finally got the character that we know and love. Or hate to love, you know? So let's take a look at all the winning ideas from the comic books. So, Green Goblin was first introduced in The Amazing Spider-Man number 14 in 1964. And this one, he was originally flying around on a mechanical broomstick, you know, instead of his infamous glider, but still pretty hip. And this goblin was basically out to get Spider-Man, you know? Not just, you know, make crime like other villains do and then get stopped by Spider-Man. No. And for quite some time, we did not know the identity of the Green Goblin. We just knew that he hated Spider-Man and wanted him out of the way, like it was something personal. And we learn why that is later on. In The Amazing Spider-Man number 39 in 1966, it is revealed that Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin, the father of Peter Parker's best friend, Harry Osborn. And in Amazing Spider-Man number 40, we learn how Norman got to be the Green Goblin, you know, with the experimenting on formulas to increase one's strength and intellect. Well, he got the strength, but he also got a bit of the crazies.
But there you have it, the rest of the story.
And that's the winning comic version of the character, so let's take a look at some of the other ideas for the character that did not win out. So, Stan Lee had a different version of Green Goblin's origin. Mainly, that Green Goblin wasn't human, but he was an ancient mythological demon that was disturbed from his slumber. And he had every kind of power natural to him that a mythological demon would have, right? And Steve Ditko didn't really think that was a good idea. Like, Spider-Man always fought against human villains, not mythological ones or anything like that. That's kind of a far stretch, so he's like, how about we just make Green Goblin human to kind of fit in with Spider-Man type stories, and we can leave the mythological creatures and stuff like that to like Doctor Strange or someone, you know? Also, Stan Lee didn't want the Green Goblin to be someone that Peter Parker knew already. He wanted him to be just some random Joe Blow that the readers never met before, because he figured some random person that, you know, just came out of nowhere can do any kind of harm to anyone. And that's a sad truth of life, you know, but Steve Ditko was like, I already kind of had a plan that it was gonna be Norman Osborn, and he figured for the readers it would be a lot more impactful if it was someone who was kind of close to Spidey like that, you know, someone who was kind of a mentor, somewhat of a father figure. Like, what a twist! For that Norman Osborn reveal, it is kind of a he said kind of a deal, but there's a lot more evidence kind of saying that Steve Ditko was the one who wanted Green Goblin to be Norman Osborn, so I'm kind of more gonna lead towards that being true. So that was Green Goblin in the comic books. And for this cartoon series, it's obviously not the same Goblin that was seen in the comic books, but this cartoon Goblin seems to be a bit more influenced by the Stan Lee concept of the character, right? Not quite a mythological creature, but he is leaning more towards learning of magical and supernatural powers, so not quite demon-like powers, you know, but kind of in the same vein, right? And this character is a Joe Blow random character, not someone that Peter knows because, well, for one, there's no reason for it in this cartoon series, and really, number two, there is no time to set up all the supporting characters, you know, for the big reveal like there was in a comic, so, you know, meh, it's just some random guy. So the comics tend to be more Steve Ditko's kind of idea for the character, and this cartoon is kind of leaning much more towards Stan Lee's version of the character, so I guess both ideas won out in the end, I guess, eh? But that's pretty much the main points for this particular Green Goblin for this early part of his story, so that's, you know, pretty much where I'm gonna leave off with that stuff there. We'll get into more Green Goblins in future episodes of other Spider-Man cartoons. And I guess with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess that's that. Also, if you guys are interested, I created my own superhero show and I have the first episode out already. The Adventures of the Density. So if you guys would like to check it out, I'll have a link above here and a link at the end of the video for you to peruse there. Yeah, right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, you know, feel free to do so. Or anything else, you know, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, you know, have a great day. Thanks.